Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what kind of point I want to make here. I just want to sound off on a couple of things I scribbled in my little notepad. Um, so first, before you watch this video, I would like you to look up and watch the music video for Broski by Joyner Lucas. That's Broski, okay? It's one of my favorite pieces of music, even though nowadays I'm not listening to a whole lot of rap or hip hop. Um, in comparison to the frequency with which I listened to it as a teenager. So here's a little scenario for you, okay? This is specifically important for young people who want to make a lot of money, okay? So imagine you earn $5 million. To get that money, you lose sleep, you lose friendships, you put a romantic relationship on hold, you miss birthdays, you miss funerals, you miss holiday celebrations with others, and you even suffer from a couple hospitalizations due to complications of overwork. Um, so at some point, 4 months into having secured your $5 million, after you've told maybe a couple people with whom you worked about your earnings and you all celebrate it quietly, you receive a call from an old friend. And you guys catch up with each other for about 20, 25 minutes, and eventually he puts forth to you that unless you give him and his girlfriend at least $4.5 million within, say, the next month at the latest, he and a number of other people are going to get together and concoct some sort of story about you having been violent or having assaulted someone or many people, having had malicious intentions, having like a psychopathic nature, and so on and so forth. You get what I mean? So basically, all that effort and all that energy and all that time and all that sacrifice you invested into making your money is now not only kind of nullified, but you're realizing, like, well, wait a minute, I thought, these people who I kept giving myself to in the past would actually cheer for me, or at least they would leave me alone. But it turns out that once you come into a certain amount of resources, suddenly these people who seem to just be lukewarm in every sense in the past turn into piranhas of sorts, right? Does that make them evil? I don't think so. I think it just makes them susceptible to the kind of malignant socialization forces that are apparent in society today. A lot of people use certain kinds of value structures as window dressing or a form of coquetry, but in reality, they're just base materialists. And you can tell that by their actions over time. I may purport to be a Jew or a Christian, but if my actions demonstrate that I'm mainly interested in just enriching myself and stepping on other people's fingers, then, time will tell what I really am. So, when you take a look at the life of somebody like Grigory Perelman, and you note that he hasn't been particularly hungry for something like money, status, prestige, things that are coveted in society, perhaps you might note that he has already calculated far in advance that people can do this sort of thing to him, okay? So Perlman is crucially not the only absolutely strikingly brilliant person who shunned material success and, coveted riches and resources. And I certainly don't claim to be anything like a Perlman-like genius, but, I sort of anticipated early on that this kind of thing could happen to me as well. In subtle and not so subtle ways, people in your life may indicate to you that they feel entitled to things you get, whether sooner or later. So you have to kind of make maneuvers to protect yourself from obtaining things that they would lust after with a sort of feverish and truly sinister lust. Okay, this is just a word of caution for you. Be very careful about who you keep in your inner circle. Learn the difference between cheap and costly signaling, and primarily look for those with costly signal commitments to helping others and to controlling their baser natures, okay? You may have an addiction or two, you may have vices, but over time you should be trending in the direction of being more helpful than hurtful to others, and not being just a moral wild card whose moral future is up for grabs, okay? The older you get, without costly commitments to the well-being of others who do not give you, say, a paycheck, the more suspicious, and I would say, dare I say it, untrustworthy you become, all right? So this is just a word of caution for you. Take care. Stay sharp and sober, and God bless you.